right, so what I want to do is sort of, just take a few minutes and want to put everything together. All that we've been talking about, scales and different chord types and learning melody and playing in time. And what I did is just for, demonstration purposes, I thought I'd take us back a little bit. I have a very old, very popular song. I think we all know Joy to the World. I thought it was a good example because, you know, by way of melody, it's easy to catch. It's within the uh, major scale that we've been looking at, and also I can show you a couple different versions of it that I've learned over the years, and we'll be sure to give credit where credit is due on the screen for that particular composition. But so by way of example, to demo that, I've got some rhythm lined up. And what you can basically do is I have a little bit different patch here. I'm using a softer, more of an EP sound. So not to worry that you can get away from piano. This just happens to be the setting that goes to this particular rhythm setting. But have a little bit different patch that I'm using. And what we're going to do is I'll just start out playing it. And as we go, I'll try to describe the different movements that I'm using. And you can basically mimic it. Here we go. Now, if I were to go traditionally, it would sound like this. Okay, so what that basically was, I am playing in D, D major. So you're looking at the D major scale. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, remember our scale. And basically, I took the high octave, the higher D, above middle C, and I went. All right, and just a side note, if you're wondering what that movement was, that's called a grace note. And it's a really cool thing that you can use when you want to accent some of your scales or your movements, any of your runs and the licks that you might be doing during your songs and stuff. So that is a grace note. And now you'll see and notice that I am following the major scale. So it's nothing more than just walking down the major scale right now. So all right, and that is it. In a traditional sense. Okay, so have some rhythm, and the rhythm isn't probably going to be that funky, but just to play it again in the traditional sense, we'll utilize that rhythm. And this, by the way, is this workstation. In many keyboards, they have a split key. So we'll do that once again. And that's utilizing a bass guitar on the left half, as you can hear it. All right, so that was it traditionally. Now we're going to change it up with that same rhythm, and we're going to play it just a more contemporary version that I learned along the way. So, and what this is doing is it's showing you that you're finding and discovering the melody both in individual notes on the major scale, and also you're learning to play not just in time, but you're playing melody in a sense of like full chords. So the chords that you're using are actually grabbing some of those notes, but you're not individualizing it anymore. Now you're using it in more of a major triad sense, okay? So what we're doing is we're still in D, and I'm going to use a different version now, a different feel to the song. So and sometimes I stay in the root key, and I also just add the A, the C, and the G, okay? So the C isn't necessarily part of the D major scale, but the C just kind of gives it some flavor, so that when you intro a song, you can sort of do it like that. Now the C, keep that root, G. Okay. C. So what was happening there is now we have a different style of the same song, and we're still utilizing the melody, but it's by way of chord work now. So it's a little bit more complicated because now I'm using full chords, and sort of the chord movement. Now I'm changing chords, and I'm adding the use of the pedal in there too. So just keeping all that in mind, what you can do is the magic of video is you can always rewind it, check out what I'm doing, mimic the movements, and just keep learning it, and even add your own flavor to that. So but basically just utilize these same chord movements, and what I want you to pay attention to is how you're training your ear to listen for the melody of the song, so you can sort of tell where the voice would normally be. And if there was a voice that carried the melody, then all I would have to do is I would just utilize the major chords, and whatever minor was a part of this. This is a B minor that I'm using, B minor 7, E minor, and then A back to the root. So I wouldn't be as fancy or as heavy on trying to incorporate melody in my playing if I had voices over top of this. So lyrically, things would change. The playing would change just a little bit. But again, in time, we'll do that same song and pay attention, try to find where the rhythm or the melodies falling. So that intro movement. to that root chord, okay?